Hello and welcome to Yard Talk. I'm your host, Doug LaForce. Today we're going to continue on with the series In the Hub. I'm really pleased that there's still people that are willing to participate. I still encourage all to do so because everybody has something to say. So let's get on with this interview and maybe we'll follow it up with something at the end. What I'd like you to do is introduce yourself and tell us how long you've been here with the company.
Okay, my name's Kevin O'Donnell, live in Kettering, been with UPS, be 45 years this September. Started September 26, 1978 when I was a sophomore down at the University of Dayton, and been here ever since. I say I'm like used luggage at a garage sale, just can't get rid of me.
Okay, now, after talking with so many here, you started like most, I'm assuming, part-time, correct?
That's part-time for 22 years up until from 1978 up until the year 2000, summer 2000, 4th of July, or July 1st. They created these 22-3 jobs, which made allowed part-timers to have a full-time job but not into driving, because prior to that time, all it was either you're a full-time driver in management, or the part-time jobs were just AM and PM part-time, working 4.5 hours a night. And I've always been on the PM shift, coming in at 5 o'clock, 5:30 in the afternoon, working till 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. And then had the opportunity when they created these, what they call 22-3s, Article 22, Section 3 of the contract book, to create full-time jobs for people that weren't drivers, but they combined the car wash with my normal sorting hours, and I worked more into the night because I was afraid at first, not really afraid, but it would have been a hassle because I substitute teach the last 43 years, and I didn't want this job. I thought, well, what if they start, instead of starting at 5:30, they start at 3 in the afternoon.
Yeah, like backing it up.
Yeah, where they have to get a sub for the sub the last period of the day, which screws everything up. But all it was I come in at the same time and just work more into the night, which worked out great for me.
Okay.
So.
Well, tell us a little bit about your subbing too. I'm interested in that. What do you sub?
Just sub whatever they call me for. I'm pretty much at the high schools. I've been at Ponence in Dayton, city of Dayton, and it's their trade school. They have 6 high schools now in Dayton. When I was growing up, there was 11 high schools in Dayton, but just like most things, everything's downsized with people just not having enough kids and all that stuff. So, but I sub every day. But it's nice as a sub. If there's a day that I don't want to come in, then I just say, I'm sorry, I'm busy. I don't have to give them any reason. I say, I'm already busy. You're scheduled somewhere else. And then I go back to bed for a couple more hours.
I get that.
Do what I want. But I've been, since the last week of January this year, I took a long-term deal with Ponence. Ponence is the trade school. It took over when Patterson Co-op, which was downtown, was the co-op school. Kids would work half a day and do metal work or whatever they were, automotive, whatever they were into. So I'm in with this guy that was the construction teacher. He had shoulder surgery, so I was in for him. It was supposed to be from the last week of January this year through February until like the beginning of March, but it's now up through May 5th. Was when his doctor gave a clearance to when he's able to come back. He came back about a week and a half ago, and is in the classroom, but he can't. His arm's still in the sling and all that, so he can't move wood. But he's getting grades together and paperwork stuff and everything. I'm helping the kids out and everything. So it's been a real good deal, really.
Well, that's got to be rewarding within itself.
It's fun. Yeah. I enjoy it. It's I wouldn't do it if I didn't enjoy it, and yeah, it's. For 43, hard to believe it's been 43 years, but like they say, this time flies.
Oh, it does.
And but it's a nice job in the daytime. I come home, get a little hour and a half nap, and then come into UPS. So Monday through Friday, I'm putting in 80 hours a week. But anybody that knows me, I don't do anything I don't want to do. And once I retire from UPS, which will probably be about 3 or 4 years, if hopefully I'll live that long, and then I'll still sub. Just, you know, if I sub 1 or 2, 3 days a week, or none that week, or every day that week, who knows?
Sure,
you know? But
sure.
Yeah, just it's
well,
nice
like you
to have
said,
the
you
option.
enjoy it. So why stop doing something
Exactly.
you enjoy?
Exactly.
Okay, so jumping back here, you said you've been here 45 years.
Yep.
So you've seen a lot with this company. I mean,
seen a
how
lot.
it has evolved to what it is now. And I ask everyone. I haven't been here that long, and I'm sure everybody's tired of hearing me saying over and over, I haven't been here that long. But you know, kind of walk us through, if you would, being here 45 years. How this place has evolved to where it is now. Good, bad, ugly. Your opinion.
Little of everything. Used to be when I first started here, and people wanted to get into a full-time driving job. They had a waiting list roughly of about 7 years for drivers to retire and work your way up. Nowadays, people are getting into driving in a year and a half, which is good. I guess more people are retiring, or if more jobs have been created. I'm not really sure what the deal is, but I remember, you know, when the drivers, everything's on a little scanning board now and all this, little that I'm not a computer type person. Kids can't believe it at school, and I tell them I've never emailed or text message in my life, which I haven't, though. I mean, I'm not bragging about it or complaining about it, just stating fact. I just don't do the stuff.
Right.
But this is, when I first started here, the drivers still had the little sheet of paper that you put.
Oh yeah, logbooks. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, the logbooks.
I can relate to that. I've been in this business for 40 plus years. So
yeah,
I
all the
remember
carbon
those.
stuff here and all the papers and all that, from everything just being handwritten stuff to the electronic age and emailing and texting and all that. Just but it's the old story, you know, when you're in competition with other companies, and you have to try to stay a little bit ahead of the game if you want to be on top or whatever, or survive.
Sure.
And it just I'm sure there's so many things that I do not see. The technology end of things.
Oh, sure.
Really, but
well, I'm not a techie guy either, but
yeah.
But anyway, you know, you mentioned something interesting, which you know, back 45 years ago, my understanding here was like, hey, for a driver, you better have your hair cut a certain way. You better not have any whiskers on your chin. You better have those boots shined and that.
Exactly.
So fast forwarding to today, and you kind of, you know, it's interesting how you said, and like a comparison with everybody else. Do we still stand out in your opinion? I mean, I know you're not a driver, but I mean, I like to get everybody's opinion. I mean,
well, nowadays, like I say, Jim Casey, one of the founding fathers of UPS, I'm sure he's turning over in his grave now. When you have these guys with ponytails and beards and goatees and earrings and tattoos and all this and that, which you know, to each their own. But I like to see it where they have. I respect everybody's individuality.
No,
and
I get
all that.
it. Yeah, I do too. I understand.
And to me, the bottom line is, as long as my medication, if I'm on medication of some kind, I don't care if the person's green or blue or whatever, as long as my medication gets to me in time.
What kind of public image do you think that you see now compared to maybe, I mean, and it's only been a few short years, really.
Exactly.
So let's rewind back even maybe, 5-6 years ago. I mean, it's changed that. I've been here 9 years, and it's changed dramatically.
It has, and it always has. You know, UPS always had, like in the commercial, they always said, you know, we run the tightest ship in the shipping business, and like you said, you know, it used to be where no Elvis Presley sideburns. You know, it was basically a military type look.
Correct.
And I thought that was a good image for most people, because most people, if you had a UPS driver with a military type look, and a UPS driver,
and that's fine. And like you said, we're not picking on people by any means. I mean, like you said, to each their own. I'm curious, and the only reason I'm asking these questions, and I'm asking many different people, and it's not a dig on anybody. It's just, what kind of public image are we actually showing now? Because, you know, I think we're getting to the point where and we want to stand out. We don't want to be like every other company out here, quote unquote. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
but we'll get off that subject and move on. And we got a train coming by, which I'm sure this is really impressive on here. So, hey, I do these interviews everywhere. I'm just Johnny on the spot. So,
Yeah.
but okay, so. Is there anything particular that you would like to talk to about this job? I mean, you covered how it went from a part-time and then the 223 showed up, which I think was a good thing, and combining the job and giving people an opportunity to have a full-time job without having a driving position. Because, I mean, before that, it was just all part-time, and I was ignorant to that. I didn't know why there was so much animosity, like in the feeder department. When I was hired off the street, it was like these guys are like, you know, hey, I worked, you know, X amount of years part-time, and I had to struggle through package to get to where I'm at. They hire you off the street, and now you're driving a feeder truck, you know.
Yeah, well, it's your story. Don't get mad at you. Don't get mad at anybody, really. I mean, it's just times changing, and people, if they want to hold a grudge against someone or something, it's like, hey, sorry I wasn't around
Exactly.
at that time. You
That's
know,
right.
I caught it at the right time, and that just happened to be how the work setup was. So,
Right.
and but this company's been great to me. I think I've been pretty good to them too. I've only called in sick twice in 45 years. So they can look it up somehow. I'm sure they you know, it used to be anyway. They could tell what time you know, farted at 11:45 p.m. or a.m. You know, they have everything documented, which is fine with me.
Sure.
But you know, UPS has been very good to me with the health benefits, and
Oh, sure.
I'm not married with any kids and anything. I'm sure they appreciate someone like me that I'm never sick. I mean, knock on wood.
Oh, yeah.
And the money I save them, but you know, I'm old school. I was just raised
Well,
where
sure.
you know,
You got good work ethic.
I got a good work ethic, and
Exactly.
and hopefully, you know, you see different work ethics these days and all this, and everybody expects something for nothing,
Sure.
and that just isn't the way it is.
Yeah,
or should be.
I never tied into
And,
that. Bought into that at all.
Yeah, but yeah, it's these people. You know, you're always gonna have the people that complain about things here and there. They're gonna complain about anything, no matter where they're at, and this and that. But you know, I don't do cartwheels coming into work, but I don't mind my job.
Sure, no, I get
And,
it. I absolutely.
And it's nice to where, you know, to have a job to where it's not like on a Monday they say, hey Kev, make sure you have your presentation all ready for the upper management on Thursday. Nothing like that. I clock in, do my job. I listen to rock and roll on my radio for 8 hours a day, and they pay me a nice wage to do what I do. So, and I feel good. And you know, like I said, I'd like to stay at least another 3-4 years. Maybe I'm 65 now. If I go till 70, why not? You
Oh,
know?
well, sure, yeah. I mean, if you feel good, I mean, why not? And that's the thing. If you're still able to do your job and you like your job, why not?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I don't begrudge anybody for that.
Yeah, if you rust, you rust. And I always get tired of these people that always say, when are you going to retire? When are you going to retire? A lot of times when I'm coming into work from the parking lot and the drivers are leaving, and they'll always ask me, hey Kev, when are you going to retire? And I joke with them. I'll get real serious. And I say, well, so like right now is April 14th. I say, I'm retiring in June. They're like, really? And I say, yeah, but I said, but I'm retiring in June, but I'm not sure what year yet.
What year yet? That's hilarious.
That's
hilarious.
You know, oh, you son of a gun.
Oh,
But,
that's funny.
they'd like to have my job, but
Good stuff.
you know, if someone's in driving and one of these 22.3s comes about, they have to take a $5 an hour pay cut
Sure.
to come onto
I
my
get
deal.
it.
So
I get it.
they must really. A lot of drivers, you know, they complain about their job, but they call it the golden noose. They complain about their job, but they make too much money to where they can't go anywhere else and make the money they do for the job they do.
No, I
So,
get it. I get that.
But I'd hate having a job that you don't like going into, really, and then I don't mind my job at all. So,
Yeah.
so.
Okay, well let's do something. Talk about something fun. And I know we got a truck over there. He's doing his pre-trip, but at any rate, you do quite a bit of traveling. Tell us about where you've been. I mean, you've traveled the world, haven't you?
I have. My brother and I, unfortunately, my brother and best friend Pat, 3 years older than me, he passed away October 6, 2004, of cancer. But up until then, we chummed around together quite a bit. We're just, like I say, you're brothers and sisters by chance, but you're best friends by choice, and we were best friends.
Wow.
And we traveled all over the place. We were all through Central America and camping out on the Mopon River that separates Guatemala from Belize, and Mount Zanantinich, the Mayan ruins, and all that stuff, and going all throughout the Caribbean and out west skiing, and after the big tsunami hit, big wave hit Indonesia and Thailand on Christmas Day. I think it was like 2004 or something like that, and 250,000 people were killed. And I already had my plane ticket for Thailand to go over there and just kind of hang out, check out the beaches. I wanted to get through Cambodia and get to Vietnam. When I grew up with the Vietnam War and all that, luckily I was too young to be in it, but old enough to watch it on TV when you come home with Walter Cronkite and Dan Rather every night, while we're eating dinner. And I bought my ticket that summer, and then 3 months later, this tsunami hit and wiped out 250,000 people. But I still went over there like 3 weeks after the tsunami hit. I was over there the end of January.
Wow.
And a lady friend of mine taught math over at one of the schools in Kettering, Van Buren Middle School. She got all her kids together, and these kids are something else. They got all these booklets and markers and protractors and all kinds of stuff, because I always travel anywhere in the world I go. All I have is a shoulder bag. Nothing's ever checked everything's always with me. Nothing's ever checked on the airplane or bus or wherever, and I'm in sight, or it's either on me or I'm looking at it hanging up there or something. That's never out of my sight. But I had a big duffel bag like you see the military people in the airports, so there's big huge duffel bags, and I had all kinds of supplies. And I talked to the cab drivers. That's anywhere I travel. I rarely book a place to stay. I go over there and check things out first. Go to the beach and hang out, and talk to the bus driver or the cab drivers.
Or talk to the locals and
find out instead of just. And it's not like I'm dragging a wife and 3 kids along with me on something like that. It's just me, and I just hang out and ask the drivers, where's a good place, to eat off the beaten path type thing, and I get twice as much food for half the price. Everybody else
where's
goes.
The locals go?
Yeah.
I mean, that's awesome.
And I enjoy it. It's
that's really cool.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun just seeing the different cultures. And a friend of mine that was in Vietnam, he was based over in Thailand, and when I went over there, he told me, he goes, go up to some good-looking girl and you go over there and say, "Kun Konali Kon Swemak." And I said, I'm not going to get smacked upside the head or something. But Kun Konali Kon Swemak says, "What do you eat that makes you so beautiful?" So it's kind of a good way to get in the front door, where somebody says, "Where does old white boy come up with this stuff?"
Sly dog, you. That's funny. That's hilarious.
Kun Konali Kon Swemak. I've always remembered that. So, but traveling, I love traveling. In all my years at UPS, I've only stayed any vacation I've ever had. I've only stayed in the state of Ohio one time, and that was with my brother and his wife and my mother when we went up to Cleveland Clinic when he was getting his cancerous left kidney taken out. But other than that, I'm over in the Caribbean or the Far East or wherever I feel like going. I need to. Last name's O'Donnell, so I'm just a tad bit Irish, and I need to get over to Ireland sometime.
Just a pinch.
Just a pinch. Yep, just a pinch. But I need to get over to Ireland sometime. I guess I haven't wanted to. I haven't been over there yet, but if I really wanted to go, I would have been there. But I need to get over there and go back to the homeland. There used to be a UPS commercial, as a matter of fact, a guy delivering a next day air package out in the outskirts of Dublin, just out in the Irish countryside. He goes into this bar and he says, I have a package for Kevin O'Donnell, and like 10 people raised their hands saying, yeah, that's me.
That's me.
So it's a pretty good commercial.
Wow.
But traveling, that's my love. I love traveling, but after all this World Trade bombings and all that stuff, after the year 2000 and everything, I've pretty much just stay. I go down to New Smyrna Beach, Florida. Just the last 10 years, every vacation, I just go down there and hang out at the beach, and that's my home away from home. And I take it as a good compliment. All the locals down there say that you're a local. You're a local.
That's
so
all.
I know so many people, and just
good.
That's my chill out time and everything. So my happy place.
Well, it's good to have a happy place.
It is. It is.
It's good to have a happy place.
It's the way of the stress of life and everything you do and all this and that, and trying to balance things around. That helps my equilibrium quite well when I go down and hang out at the beach.
Well, there you go.
So can't ask for much more than that.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it's been a good company. I've never been laid off. I've never had a check bounce or anything like that. And a lot of people that you talk to, and they say, "Oh yeah, I worked at this one company for 30 years," and then they close down. You don't find a whole lot of people that have been at a place for 40 or 45 years, because companies don't last that long.
Yeah, you're right about that.
So we're all, anybody
You
who
are.
works here, we've been very fortunate for that. And,
I agree.
I count my blessings every day on things. I don't take anything for granted at all on anything. And
Nor should we.
and yep, exactly. Nor should we. So, but that's that on that.
That's awesome. Hey, I appreciate you letting me pick your brain.
Hey,
for
no
a
problem.
minute.
Well, what little brain there is to pick.
Oh
you know?
Lord, right? No, I mean it's interesting to talk to people and get a different perspective on things. I mean, because a lot of people view so many different things differently.
Yeah.
I think there's an art to a conversation. I mean, obviously we all cannot agree on everything, but the art of a conversation is we can agree to disagree.
Exactly.
And I mean, but
Yep.
you're fun to talk to, and I appreciate you giving me the time for that. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, just to say, everybody just say, live, love, laugh, try to just help people out when they need a helping hand, and that's kind of like my creed. I just try to be a good person, and I've always been a fighter for the underdog, and
There you
people
go.
that have a short stick in life here and there, and just the breaks just never seem to come their way, and this and that, and they just never had a chance to meet somebody to get you in the door for a good paying or well paying job or whatever. So many people just struggle and living paycheck to paycheck, but they're good, hardworking people that just haven't had a good break in life to
Yeah.
really get on the other side. And
I agree.
I try to help. I try to put a smile on somebody's face, and when I walk away, just like in the classroom, I always like it when the kids say, "Mr. O'Donnell, it's always nice when we leave your class. We always have a smile on our face and feel good."
Well, good. That's
and that's
awesome.
that makes me feel good.
Well, absolutely.
That makes me feel good. Well, Doug, I appreciate
No,
it.
hey, I appreciate your
Yeah,
time,
no
sir.
problem, buddy. Yeah,
And
it's always good seeing
we'll get you this wrapped up, and we'll get you on an upcoming episode for sure.
All right.
All right, buddy. I
Sounds
appreciate
good. Yep. Be safe, folks.
it. All right, thanks.
Wow, the things you learn when you just take a few minutes to talk to somebody. That was interesting, and there again, I do appreciate it. Well, until next time, folks, stay safe.